Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Oleg Pavlov, founder and CEO of Quadrum Global, which is the developer of Arlo Hotels. And actually, I am at the new Arlo Midtown. If you're not familiar with Arlo, this is the third hotel that Arlo has put here, and there's one in Miami. And we're going to talk to Oleg about the brand, about this new hotel, which is on the west side, Midtown in New York City, and really what's Arlo is all about. And you're going to find out about all that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Oleg, first of all, let's tell everybody where we are. Where are you and how are you?
Thank you, James. Well, I'm actually in London, where I'm based, and I'm born and bred in Russia, in Moscow. Lived there for about 30 years until I moved to London for family and work reasons. And for the bigger part of my career now, I run and managed various private equity investments, and more in real estate. And Arlo Hotels is one of our ventures, which came out of our 10-year-long real estate foray in the United States, which started in 2009.
Well, you definitely have a great brand here, and it just seems rather odd that you are in London and I am here at your hotel. So, experiencing it. So, and we all know, this is the challenge with the almost post-COVID environment, where it's hard to fly between these countries without a lot of quarantine time. So, let's talk a little bit about the Arlo Hotel concept. What makes for an Arlo Hotel? And now you have, I guess, 4 of them now, right?
We have 3 in operation, and we'll be opening the 4th one next year in Miami, which we can talk about later.
That's right. It's not open yet, but you have the 3 here in New York that are all in operation,
Absolutely.
right? What is an Arlo hotel? What makes for it?
Well, an Arlo hotel, for the time being, it's a very much a New York-centric brand, and we think of it as an efficient hotel, which is highly experiential. We started out in New York a few years ago. Real estate was very expensive. Developers were trying to offer more value for money for those who wanted to experience New York without spending all of their money on a hotel room.
Right.
And the idea behind the model was, well, how can we create a good experience and not have people pay for the real estate that they don't use?
Right.
Where I used to come into big corporate hotels in New York my first years, long time ago, as a visitor, and I look at this pretty boring room, which will be very big, and I'll pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for it. And I think, well, do I really need all of this? I'm not spending much time in the room. I'm out and about, either in business meetings or experiencing the city, and I want everything outside of the room. I just want the room to become comfortable. And so that was the first pillar of an Arlo experience. We want a guest to feel that they're not paying for extras that they don't need. But we do want to offer all the essentials that one might need. Comfortable bed, good environment, connectivity options, which are becoming very important these days. And the rest of it happens outside of the room, particularly in a hotel. And where Arlo has become pretty well known was our social program, our food and beverage experience, and all the events which we create where transient meets the local.
Right.
That's the other pillar of an Arlo. Hotels come from the typical inn experience. This is where the travelers stop on passing through a location. But this is also where locals meet, because that's such a hot spot. And when I'm traveling through New York City, I want to experience New York City, and if a hotel can be a gateway for that. You may have noticed that all of our hotels have this sharing board. It's usually somewhere close to an elevator.
I saw that downstairs by the elevator, yes.
Yeah, well, it's one of our signature features. It was a homegrown. It was a little sharing board that was this size, where people could post small notes, and it grew to the size of the wall, where people post acknowledgements or recommendations for the local hotspots for the next traveler. And that's one of the things that we ourselves enjoy reading. We bring in a lot of local partnerships. the amenities in the bathroom are by Blind Barber, which is one of the more local U.S. brands. And everything we do, we see where we can bring in local merchandise into our bodega, into our stores, whether we can bring a local artist to host a paint event at a hotel, or a local musician for a music event. And that's another way of creating more life in the space and make sure that both locals and guests have a new, enriching experience.
No, absolutely. And why do you think there's been such an explosion in this particular segment, the sort of smaller boutique properties like Arlo? Obviously, I'm thinking of Moxie, Citizen M, and I just told you we were talking about it, Walker Tribeca. Is it because that they people don't want to pay for that, as you said, they don't want to pay for that extra real estate. They want a comfortable room, but they really want this kind of experience. And quite frankly, in this hotel and your others, I'll spend more time usually down in the lounge areas because they are so comfortable and so accessible.
Absolutely. It's I think the idea behind this is trying to offer guests more value for money. And you can obviously you can create more efficient spaces by making rooms smaller, and trying to offer good experiences outside the room. I think we are probably focused more on experience outside the room,
right?
Whereas other brands may focus more on just the efficiency.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And your experiences outside the room are outstanding. And of course, even this Arlo Midtown is a little different from your other two hotels in Manhattan. First of all, I believe it's the largest, and you have a few more room categories. Is that correct? I mean, talk a little bit about how Arlo Midtown might be different from Arlo Nomad and the one you have down near Canal Street.
Absolutely. Well, there's probably two or three key differentiators. First of all, it is a larger hotel. We have we have almost 500 rooms in here, versus 300 and we have 489 rooms to be precise, versus 325 rooms in our next largest property in Arlo Soho, which is downtown that you referred to. But that doesn't necessarily make it unique. There's a lot of hotels in the city which are huge. I think the room product is different to what we had before. Our first two hotels were very much part of a business plan where the room is quite small and the amenities are quite limited. We found, and we expected initially to cater to a pretty value-oriented, very young crowd and a guest who doesn't really want any frills.
Right.
What we found, I guess fortuitously, is that our guest is more affluent than we thought. Generally, a slightly wider age range. It's not just the millennials. We host people, it's a slightly older generation, still avid travelers, both business and transient. And we also found it's a more discerning, more affluent clientele. And what we also found is, and something we implemented in this hotel is sometimes people want to experience an Arlo environment, but they want a larger room.
Right.
And in this particular property, we have a larger rooms across the board, as you may notice. We also have several categories of quite significant room sizes that would actually be big rooms, including some of the suite options.
No, absolutely. And I'm in one of the king suites, so I know. And I have seen your other rooms, and they're great, functional, and you're spending most of your time in the public spaces anyway. But I got to tell you, the king suite I have is one of the nicer rooms I've had in Manhattan. I got to tell that's absolutely. And so you have that option.
Yeah. Well, what we are an integrated developer and a hotel operator, so we basically do everything ourselves. And with this third property, we found a way through optimizing construction and the whole design that we can actually build or create larger rooms, and it's still a viable hotel that we can offer to our clientele at competitive prices, even in today's market. So larger rooms is one feature. The next feature is a wider range of wellness and fitness options.
Okay.
We found again, even though you wouldn't think you'll be going too often to the gym if you're just passing through New York for a couple of days, we found that our newer generation of guests really values, puts a huge emphasis on wellness and fitness. And this hotel has a large, up-to-date fitness facilities. And we continue to offer our wellness options, plant-based menus in the restaurants, and various wellness programs, which will be more of in this hotel. So I think that there's probably two key new features. The other things have stayed the same. We have a rooftop. Right. Every Arlo hotel has a rooftop. This one has, I'm sure you've seen, it's breathtaking views of Hudson Yards area.
Yeah, it's amazing. And looking uptown, downtown, it's gorgeous views up there, and it's going to be a real the hotel really just opened, but I think it's going to be a very popular rooftop experience. But I have to say that your bar downstairs, right off the hotel lobby, is really outstanding. It opens up to West 38th Street. There were a lot of people in there. I think that might be equally as popular.
I'm sure. We hope so. We're opening more and more of the spaces through the summer. As you know, the restaurant will be open in September. Okay. So we hope it will be we hope it will be a destination in the local area.
And also you have a wonderful patio in the back where they will come serve you drinks from the bar, and so there's a lot of public space. You got a ton of interior public space that people can just hang out, and a lot of meeting rooms throughout. I was impressed by how many different places you could go, find a corner and just work. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things we really like about every property we do. We like the flexibility and we like to offer flexibility for people to. You can either be by yourself, you can be in a group of people, you can. There's lots of rooms which can become private meeting facilities if people want to, or they can be opened up to larger events or to the lobby at large. Flexibility is a big thing with everything we do.
No, absolutely. And again, you don't have to spend all your time in the room if you really can be downstairs. And yeah, it is a business environment. You got great connectivity. Obviously, I'm talking to you on Zoom here, from your hotel. It's working great, and that's perfect. Now, you mentioned the dining options, and you said the restaurant will open in September. Can you give us any idea of what that restaurant will be, or is that still secret?
Oh, it will be the full service restaurant by Gerber Group, which runs all of our food outlets. Okay. It's called the Nearly Ninth, and right now you pretty much get the same menu in the lounge, and in a courtyard. But we expect that New York will be coming back to life through the summer and certainly in September, and the hotel will be fully open by then. We expect this to be a pretty sort of busy hotspot with, and there isn't that many high-end dining options in our area in particular.
No, this is an up-and-coming area. It's sort of arrived almost. As you said, you're not too far from the burgeoning Hudson Yards. You're not too far from Times Square. You're really centrally located. But a few years ago, this was not the best area, but now it's just full of hotels and really a lot going on, a lot of restaurants, a lot of things happening, and you will have a great new restaurant here. So I think you're getting here on the ground floor. Obviously, your hotel in Soho and Nomad were happening areas before this, and now you're on the cusp of being in another happening area, right?
Right. Well, in this particular case, we're very much part of the transformation, I would hope.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you have focused on New York City, but you got a project you're working on in Miami too. Talk a little bit about that, and where else might you expand beyond Miami?
Absolutely. Well, we already have one hotel in Miami called the Nautilus, which was part of our larger portfolio. It wasn't branded Arlo in the beginning, and it's a slightly different hotel. It's more of a beachfront resort property with a pool and quite large rooms and a beach club. And at some point, as we were developing the team and wanted to expand our portfolio, we concluded that Arlo culture and our energy could be infused into the Nautilus to add to the experience.
Right.
So you have the beach, you have good rooms, and you have the pool. And what we added was the Arlo experiential bits, the service and the personal touch we try to bring to every guest. The social activations, making interesting local inspired fun nights, and little things like the sharing board, art on the walls, and those sort of little touches, just to elevate the experience. And it's been very well received. Now, it's not a proper Arlo because it wasn't built like an Arlo.
Okay,
It's a historic property with some of its own limitations. What we're doing now, we're building from ground up, just like we did Midtown, an Arlo hotel in the Wynwood area of Miami.
Right.
Which will be open about a year from now, in the fall of 2022. And I believe it will be one of the first lifestyle hotels in Wynwood.
I don't know too many there. Absolutely. Any other areas you're looking at to expand?
We have a site in Washington, D.C., and that may be, that will be another Arlo hotel, although it's quite early on in the works.
So it looks like this Arlo brand is going to expand, and it's rightfully so. And the concept, I think it goes beyond Manhattan, although these are quintessentially Manhattan hotels for kind of a cool crowd that likes to socialize and be out there, as well as a business crowd that is, really wants to have all the facilities they need to do business in. So it's been great. So obviously you're looking to expand the Arlo name. Do you have any other brands? Obviously you did the Nautilus and then you changed it Nautilus by Arlo, but are there any other brands that you're looking to develop?
No, not for the time being. Nautilus was a historic name of that hotel.
Okay.
It was a Nautilus for decades and decades before we acquired it. Arlo is the one and only brand we are working on. It's homegrown, and we will focus all of our efforts on that as a developer.
No, completely understood. And now, anything else you want to tell us about Arlo Hotels? And of course, where I am right now, I'm sorry you're not here to enjoy it with me, the new Arlo Midtown?
No, all I can say is I think we're always proud of our rooftops. Both Arlo Nomad and Arlo Soho have very vibrant rooftops. I think this one will be probably the best of three because it's quite high up, right. But it's still not too big. It's quite intimate, and the views are unbeatable. I think there's no better spot to enjoy just to see what's happened in the Hudson Yards over the last 10 years than from here. To me, it looks like a 22nd century timeline.
Absolutely, and from there you can see there are new buildings still going up in Hudson Yards. It's pretty amazing. After the pandemic and all that's happened, they're still building there, and you can see. And again, you're at West 38th Street, which is really close to Broadway, which is opening up in September. So we're really looking forward to that here. And New York is back. New York is alive again, and you wouldn't know we'd had a pandemic except for a few people wearing masks out there. But it's been great. It's been great to experience the Arlo Midtown and seeing how you're sort of helping to transform this neighborhood. Now, where can we go to find out more about Arlo Hotels? What's your URL, the website?
It's arlohotels.com.
Okay. Excellent.
And you have all there. There will also on social media, the usual Instagram, Arlo Hotels, and you go from there.
Well, Oleg, I want to thank you for taking the time. Again, I'm sorry you're not here to experience your wonderful new hotel, but I'm sure you'll get here soon.
I was there just about a month ago.
Okay.
Go to New York. Normally I go to New York every month, but these days it's a bit trickier. Although I hope there are rumors that there's a U.S.-UK travel corridor is certainly being discussed between the two governments. So maybe something happens in June and it will become easier again.
Yeah, well, we're all looking for Europe to reopen, and we want to get back over to London just like you want to get over here more regularly. But I think we see it's beyond the light at the end of the tunnel now. I think we're almost there. Travel's back, and we just have to get everybody coming back here to New York and enjoying hotels like this one, Arlo Midtown, in the future. But again, thank you so much for taking the time, and we look forward to welcoming you back. And we'll have a drink on your rooftop bar very soon.
I love that. And have a good trip to Europe.
I will very soon. And again, I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.